I mean, heaven sounds amazing. If it's as they bill it to be, who wouldn't want to go? A place where you can experience the presence and the energy of people who meant a lot to you in your life and time is irrelevant? Who wouldn't want to experience that? Or right when you die, you instantly feel that just like, oh my God, Grandma, I'd recognize that energy anywhere. Oh my God, it's so good to feel your presence again. What have you been doing since you died? I've been watching you. The whole time? Yes, certainly a lot of masturbating. Okay. Well, if you've seen my whole life, what do we talk about now? And instead of forcing small talk, if time is irrelevant, maybe instead you could go watch each other live full lives, go back in the system, see your grandmother be a killer whale or an eagle. Or I think obviously the best would be to see your grandmother be just a vicious great white shark. Just thrashing seals and surfers out of the water and shaking them around, and then she'd die and come back and you'd be like, what the hell was that? That was amazing is what that was. You ever suck your teeth into a seal? It's the best. So much better than knitting used sweaters. I think there'd be some issues in heaven, and that's a bummer. But undoubtedly there'd be some quirks that people would want to work out. I'm sure there's a lot of like, hey, where's my friend Jeff? Eh? I bet there's a lot of that. That's a bummer. That sucks to think that even heaven wouldn't be perfect, that it would have a few flaws people would want to change. There has to be at least one world that is perfect. And I think if there is nothing else that all of humanity across the planet can agree upon, it is that this is not a perfect world. If you meet someone that thinks this is, you should sprint in the other direction. The person is just like, oh, well, this world? Yeah, it's great. War, genocide, starvation, terror. I love it. I'm doing pretty great. You should see my portfolio. I'm doing great. It has a lot of bad stuff, this world, but it's kind of always had it. And yet every generation comes along and thinks it's going to change it and make the world better. Every generation shows up and is like, we're going to get rid of war. Really? For the first time in human history? You know it! That's a tough way to live. If you only ever spend your mental energy imagining how much better the world could be, it only leads to anguish. I think the much more effective way to spend your mental energy is just by imagining how much worse the world could be, then be thankful it's only as awful as it is. It feels terrific. You'll feel great. You will feel great. Just try it out. I mean, you could do it anytime. Walk out of here tonight and just imagine the world looks exactly like this, exact same reality, except now in this new imagined reality that's just a little bit worse, little flaming skeletons pop out of the ground and race over and chew off your kneecaps every so often. That and racism still exists? That's a much worse world. You can look around like, not so bad. And when you guys don't laugh at that, from your end, you're like, it's not that funny to me. But from up here, it sounds like you're all going, I can handle those skeletons. No problem. I like that style of positive thinking, though. I try to use it all the time. I used to get really nervous if I'd go over to people's houses and they'd say a grace or something like that, and I'd get really nervous. Like, oh, please, don't pick me. Oh, don't get to me. And now I can't wait. I jump right in. They're like, oh, can I toss one in? Thank you. I just want to say thanks. There aren't little birds that dive bomb out of the sky and peck out our eyeballs and then hop into our eye sockets and drive us around like little tanks. Very thankful for that. Can you pass that? Oh, thank you. It goes fine. It goes fine. It's important to be positive. I try to do it all. I'm just thankful in this world that there are not dragons. That's a simple one. It seems nice. Some people are like, hey, it'd be pretty cool. It'd be terrifying with dragons. We would be the squirrels, except now the hawks could shoot fire at us from the sky. Every trip to your car would be scouring the ground for giant shadows and then a full sprint. It would be awful. But people feel like it'd be fun. So they're like, no, I'd be flying around on them. No, you wouldn't. You would not. Look in the stories who rides the dragons. Most of the time, it's royalty. It's the very tip top of the 1%. It'd be just like yachts. So if you love yachts, you're going to love dragons, but you'll never be on them. You'll never be on them. But of course it would be cool initially. The first few months of dragons, everyone would be flipping out. Everyone's photo feed would be full of dragon photos, and it'd be cool to experience it and see one. People would be showing you, I saw a dragon. But then, after a few months of it just being a part of the world, it would just settle in and be normal. And now someone's showing you a photo of a dragon would be the same as them showing you a photo of like an alligator or something. You'd be like, yeah, I've seen those. And then all the bad things would start to settle in. The droppings from the sky would be hard to deal with. If you've ever been pooped on by a bird, now imagine it's an elephant. That would be awful. There's so many bad things. Just the little things, too. Little things you don't think of, like getting trapped at a party and having to hear people's dragon stories. Some guy backing you into a corner like, I was late for work again because of one of those goddamn dragons. He landed on the tollway in front of the tunnel. He's flapping his wings. They love the attention. Guy next to me is in a big rig. I thought, just once what I wouldn't give to see one of these sky lizards get crushed by a truck. But, this guy didn't want to ruin his trick. I get that. So, after a while, people lose their patience. They're throwing things to this dragon. They're hawking their horse. Well, the dragon, he loses his mind. He starts blowing fire into their cars. They're burning alive. Their flesh is melting off. I think, Christ, I'm not getting through the tunnel now. So I gotta backtrack across 45th Street over the bridge. By the time I get into work, I'm like 45 minutes late. But you think they understood? They go, nope, that's the world we live in. It's got dragons. Get used to it. I don't want to hear that story.